Welcome back, students. So in the last video we discussed about the working of electric motor, that is when a current carrying conductor is placed in a magnetic field, it will experience a force. That is a working principle of electric motor. Now we will discuss another important concept. So we know electric current can be converted, or electrical energy can be converted to mechanical energy. Electrical energy can be converted to mechanical energy, means movement will be there. Movement will be there in the conductor. So if you move a conductor in a coil, or if you move a magnet in a coil, or if you change the magnetic field around a coil, can we produce an current in the coil? Can we produce a current by changing the magnetic field, or with the help of the magnetic field can we produce electric current? That we will discuss here. So in this diagram a coil is there and a galvanometer is there. This is a galvanometer. So the galvanometer will deflect either to the right or to the left depending upon the direction of current. A galvanometer is an instrument that detects the presence of current in a circuit. The pointer remains at 0, means at the center of the scale, for 0 current flowing through it. Means if no current is flowing through the galvanometer, then the pointer will be at 0, that is at the center of that scale. It can deflect either to the right or to the left depending upon the direction of the current. Depending upon the direction of the current. So a coil is there. We are connecting the coil to a galvanometer. This one is the galvanometer. This one is a galvanometer. Now a magnet is here. Here the magnet is stationary. Both the magnet and the coil is not moving. Okay. So here we are not moving the coil. We are keeping the coil stationary. We are moving the magnet. We are moving the magnet. So this magnet is not moving now. Can you see any deflection in the galvanometer? No deflection will be there in the galvanometer. Okay. No deflection will be there in the galvanometer, because when the magnet is stationary, when a stationary magnet is placed near a coil which is connected to the galvanometer, no current will be induced in the coil and the pointer will be at 0. The pointer of the galvanometer is at 0 reading. That is, no current is induced in the coil which is connected to the galvanometer. Now, what we can see that when you move that magnet, means when you move the north pole of that magnet into the coil, when you move the north pole of that magnet into the coil, then the galvanometer will show deflection. The galvanometer will show deflection. Means a current is induced in the coil. A current is induced in the coil due to the movement of that magnet. Due to the movement of that magnet, a current is induced in that coil. So that is indicated by the movement of the pointer of that galvanometer. So, when a current is induced in that coil, the galvanometer will deflect, or the galvanometer will show a deflection. So, when the north pole of that magnet is moved into the coil, the galvanometer will show a momentary deflection. Means a current is induced in that coil. A current is induced in that coil. A current is induced in that coil. So, to produce a current in the coil, we need to change the magnetic field linked with the coil. If the magnetic field linked with the coil is changing, then a current is induced in the coil. It does not matter if the magnet is moved away or closer to the coil, a current is generated in the coil, because in both the cases magnetic field will change with respect to the coil. So, if you move the north pole of that magnet into the coil, there will be a deflection in the galvanometer, and if you move the north pole of this magnet away from this coil, then also a deflection will be there in the galvanometer. Okay. So, if you move the north pole into the coil, then a deflection will be there in the galvanometer. If you move the north pole away from this coil, then also a deflection will be there, but the deflection is in the opposite direction. So, it does not matter whether the magnet is moved closer or away from the coil, a current is generated in the coil, because in both cases the magnetic field lines linked with the coil changes. In both cases the magnetic field line linked with the coil changes. So, when you move the north pole of the magnet into the coil, the magnetic field lines linked with the coil increases. Magnetic field lines linked with the coil increases. When you move the north pole of the magnet away from the coil, the magnetic field lines linked with the coil decreases, and the galvanometer will show a deflection in the opposite direction. So, it does not matter whether you move the magnet closer to the coil or away from the coil, a current is induced in the coil. It is due to the change in magnetic field with respect to the coil. Now, what will happen if you keep the magnet inside the coil? You are moving this magnet and you are keeping it inside the coil. It is not moving. Both the magnet and the coil is not moving. Both the magnet and the coil is not moving like this. Yeah, in this diagram it is clear. If you move the north pole of the magnet into this coil, then the galvanometer will show a deflection towards the right. If you move the north pole of the magnet away from this coil, then the galvanometer will show a deflection in the opposite direction. Now, when you keep the magnet inside this coil, no current will be induced in the coil. No current will be induced in the coil. The reason is that there is no change in the magnetic field lines linked with the coil. Both the magnet and the coil are stationary. It is not moving. So, there is no change in the magnetic field lines linked with the coil, or there is no change in the magnetic field lines with respect to the coil. So, if there is a change in magnetic field lines with respect to the coil, then a current will be induced in that coil. Okay, that is Faraday's experiment. So, from this experiment, Michael Faraday think about it and he formulated electromagnetic induction. Okay. So, if the magnetic field lines linked with the coil changes, then a current is induced in the coil. If the magnetic field lines linked with the coil is not changing, that is both the coil and the magnet is stationary, then no current will be induced in that coil. So, in two ways we can induce a current in a coil. Either you can keep the coil stationary and move the magnet. Keep the coil stationary and move the magnet. Or you can keep the magnet stationary and move the coil. In these two methods, a current is induced in the coil if the magnetic field lines linked with the coil changes. Okay. Now, we need to consider two coils like this. Coil 1 is known as a primary coil because it is connected to a battery. Coil 2 is connected to a galvanometer. So, coil 2 is known as a secondary coil. So, first coil is known as primary coil. Primary coil is connected to a battery and a key. Secondary coil is a coil 2 that is connected to the galvanometer. So, what will happen is that when you switch on the battery in coil 1, a current will be induced in coil 2. A current will be induced in coil 2 and the galvanometer will show a deflection. When you switch on the circuit, a current will be flowing in the coil 1, will produce a magnetic field, and that magnetic field will be linked with coil 2 and a current will be induced in coil 2. When you switch off the circuit, then the galvanometer in the coil 2 will show a deflection in the opposite direction. A deflection in the opposite direction. So, when current passes through coil 1, it induces a current in coil 2. That is, coil 1 will produce a magnetic field and that magnetic field is linked with the coil 2. So, the coil 2 is stationary. So, here the magnetic field should change. The number of field lines linked with the coil should change. So, when you on the circuit, the current will increase, the current starts to flow or the current starts flowing, then the magnetic field will increase from 0 to maximum value. The magnetic field will increase from 0 to maximum value. At that time, the magnetic field lines linked with the coil 2 is changing from 0 to maximum. Once it attains the maximum value, then further, then the galvanometer will show the 0 deflection because no current is induced in the secondary coil. Now, when you switch off the circuit, the current will stop flowing. Means the magnetic field will decrease from maximum to 0. The magnetic field will decrease. Again, a momentary deflection will be in the coil 2, but in the opposite direction. So, coil 1 is connected to a battery. When current flows through the primary coil, a changing magnetic field is produced in the primary coil, which induces a current in the secondary coil, and the galvanometer will show a deflection. So, that is known as electromagnetic induction. That is known as electromagnetic induction. Okay. So, what is the reason for the what is the reason for the deflection of the galvanometer in that coil 2? It is due to electromagnetic induction. Okay, it is due to electromagnetic induction. Then, when the coil and the magnet are both stationary, there is no deflection in the galvanometer. So, the motion of the magnet with respect to the coil produces a potential difference which set up an induced current in the circuit. So, when the magnet is moved with respect to the coil, that produces a potential difference and which induces a current in the secondary coil. That is known as electromagnetic induction. Now, what are the factors that depends upon this induced current? How we can increase the induced current? First one, increase the number of turns in the coil. Increase the number of turns in the coil. Then increase the strength of the magnet. Increase the strength of the magnet. Then increase the relative motion between the magnet and the coil, or the speed with which the magnet is moved towards the coil. So, increase the speed with which the magnet is moved towards or away from the coil. So, three methods are there or three factors are there that depends upon the induced current. First one, the number of turns in the coil. Second one, the strength of the magnet. Third one, the speed with which the magnet is moved towards or away from the coil. Now, we can find the induced current, direction of induced current with the help of Fleming's right hand rule. In force, we discussed about Fleming's left hand rule. So, to find the direction of induced current, we can use Fleming's right hand rule. So, this rule is also known as dynamo rule. This rule is also known as dynamo rule. So, stretch the three fingers of your right hand in such a way that they are mutually perpendicular to each other. Then, this thumb will represent the direction of the force or direction of the movement, in which direction it is moving, in which direction of movement of the conductor. This one represents the magnetic field. Forefinger represents the magnetic field. Then the middle finger will give you the direction of the induced current. Middle finger will give you the direction of induced current. That's given in your textbook, page number 235. Stretch the thumb, forefinger and middle finger of your right hand such that they are perpendicular to each other. Forefinger indicates the direction of the magnetic field and the thumb shows the direction of motion of the conductor. Then the middle finger will show the direction of the induced current. Okay. Then this induced current will be maximum when the direction of the coil is at right angles to the direction of magnetic field. The induced current will be maximum when the direction of motion of the coil is right angles to the direction of the magnetic field. Okay. Then three methods are there to induce a current in a coil. First one, by moving a magnet relative to the coil in a closed circuit, by changing the current in a neighboring coil, by moving a coil in a magnetic field. So, two methods we already discussed. Either moving the magnet into the coil or moving the coil to the magnet. Okay. Then that's the first two methods. Third method is to change the current in the neighboring coil. By changing a current in the neighboring coil, we can induce a current in the secondary coil. So, that is known as electromagnetic induction. Thank you.